The telling tale was when we landed in Zagreb and we got off the plane and they're issuing us helmets, flak vests, ammo, and putting us on a bus. And we're like, okay, we're getting all this stuff now, and it's like, yeah, just take it. It's like, well, and like the guys who'd been to Cyprus stuff, are like, oh, well, like we got to count every round. It's like, no, just take it. Trust me, you need to take this.
One thing I did notice almost right off after we left Zagreb was you don't normally, when driving through rural Alberta, pass a bunch of machine gun vehicles in the ditch. So that was sort of my first impression of the place traveling was, well, I guess we're in a shooting war.
We pulled into Camp Palm, and the mud was in the parking area. It was so deep, like you had to get off the bus and you had to walk in, and so like everyone was like sort of tiptoeing because they're like, oh geez, like you see the young corporal there, he's like having a smoke and he's looking at us, he goes, boys, and he's just covered in mud, he's filthy. He said, boys, this isn't Cyprus, and that's the first thing he said.
To my surprise, we were actually living in a tent inside the ballroom of the hotel because they didn't quite have all the holes plugged yet. The smell of the place, it's like walking through an old ruined building. That kind of that must, that mold, rotting garbage. A very eclectic number of smells all kind of jammed together.
Getting to know the populace, talking with the locals. They would always offer you a drink of whiskey, of their Slivovitz whiskey, which was plum brandy. So we would always have a designated guy who would drink. And honestly, it seems silly, but they would not respect you or talk with you if you wouldn't at least have a drink with them. It was just a European culture. And so when we first got there, of course, if we had a little bit of their stuff, it would just knock our guys out, make them drunk immediately because their stuff was so potent. But as we got there for a while and we got acclimatized to it, we'd have one guy designated to have sips of drinks with them, and we'd try to cut it to a minimum as best we could.
Our C-can was the third one in from the road. As we were started unloading, pulling stuff out of there, the first artillery rounds impacted just across the road from us. And I'm in charge, I had no clue where any shelter was, so we just sat in the C-can and waited for the shelling to stop. So it lasted probably, 10, 15 rounds came in. And the debris was falling on top of the C-can. A young guy that was with us turned around and said, well, this C-can's gonna protect us, right? I just laughed and turned the conversation to something else.
Right at 6 o'clock, we got 5 mortar rounds, that come in, and from I don't know which side, who fired them, but I'm like, what the hell's going on here? I sat there and I was like, this is exactly what I thought this was going to be. There's a war going on, and we're stuck in the middle of it.